A surprising news story appeared recently. This news talked about a very expensive gift. The gift was for Donald Trump. It was a large airplane, a jet. Reports said this jet costs around $400 million. The news also said that the royal family from Qatar might give this special jet to him. This information was a shock for many people. Immediately, people started to ask many questions. They wanted to know if the news was true. They also wondered why Qatar's royal family would offer such a big and costly present. A lot of people began to discuss if it was right for an important leader like Donald Trump to accept such a gift from another country. This debate started very quickly and became a big topic for many. The airplane is not just any plane. It is a special type of jet, a Boeing 747. It is very big and has many expensive things inside. Imagine a beautiful, rich house, but one that can fly. That is why some people call these types of airplanes flying palaces. They have many comfortable rooms, like bedrooms and places for meetings. This book will look closely at the story of this flying palace. We will explore the details from the news reports. We will learn more about the airplane itself. We will also try to understand why this possible gift caused so much talk and became an important story. We will look at the different ideas and opinions people have about this situation. 2. The big news. The news talked about a very special plane, a Boeing 747-8. This is a very big and expensive plane. Reports said Qatar's royal family wanted to give this jet to Donald Trump. The plane was worth around $400 million. Sources said Qatar would give its own Boeing 747-8 jet. This specific plane is about 13 years old, and its registration number is P4HBJ. The idea was that the United States government would receive this plane first. This plane is not like a normal passenger plane. It is very luxurious inside. That is why people called it a flying palace. This name means it is very beautiful and comfortable. The jet has many special features. For example, it has very nice private rooms like bedrooms. It also has areas for important meetings. Everything inside is made to be very fancy and comfortable for its passengers. It truly sounds like a palace that can fly. If this gift happened, the plane would have a special job. First, it would be prepared to become the new Air Force One. Air Force One is the official airplane for the President of the United States. So if Donald Trump became president again, he could use this jet for his travels. Then, after his time as president finished, the plane would not stay with the government. The plan was to give the jet to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation. This foundation would then own the flying palace. It would become a part of his library. Why would Qatar want to give such an expensive gift? No official reason was given. However, Qatar and the United States are partners. They work together on many important things. For example, the U.S. has large military bases in Qatar. Qatar also often helps to create peace in the Middle East. Some people think Qatar might want to make the U.S. president happy with this big gift. They might believe a palace in the sky could help them have more influence with the U.S. government. It could be a way for Qatar to build a stronger relationship or get support. The first news reports about this possible gift came in May 2025. This was an interesting time. Donald Trump was planning a trip to the Middle East then. He was going to visit Doha, Qatar's capital. Some people thought Qatar would announce the gift during Trump's visit. However, officials later said the actual presentation of the plane would not happen during that trip. So the timing of the news was interesting, but the gift was not officially confirmed then. 3. What they say. The White House gave its answer to the news about the jet. Caroline Leavitt is a spokeswoman for the White House. She said, "Any gift given by a foreign government is always accepted in full compliance with all applicable laws." This means that the White House believes any gift from another country must follow all the correct rules. She also said, President Trump's administration is committed to full transparency. This means they want to be open and clear about what they are doing. So Mr. Trump's team said that they have checked the laws. They believe giving the jet would follow all U.S. rules. Lawyers for Mr. Trump also spoke about the plan. ABC News reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi and White House counsel David Warrington gave advice. They said the gift would be legally permissible. This means it is allowed by law. Their reason was that the jet would first go to the U.S. Air Force. After Mr. Trump uses it, the plane would go to his library. The White House also said that U.S. lawyers looked at the idea. They decided the gift would not break laws about bribery. This is because the Air Force would get the plane first. Also, the gift is not clearly connected to Mr. Trump doing something special for Qatar in return. However, officials from Qatar said different things about the jet. They mostly played down the idea that a gift was final. Ali Al-Ansari works for Qatar in Washington. He made statements to the press. He said that reports saying the gift was finished were inaccurate. This means the news was not correct. Mr. Al-Ansari told Politico and the New York Times that the idea of giving a plane for temporary use as Air Force One was being thought about. But he also said, the matter remains under review by the respective legal departments and no decision has been made. This means lawyers in both Qatar and the U.S. are still looking at it. Qatar has not confirmed that a gift is definitely happening. Other news reports supported Qatar's view. An AP News report said that Qatar denied that the jet is being gifted. They also denied that any final decision was made. But the report did say Qatar agreed there had been talks about possibly giving a plane. Local media in Qatar and officials there also said something similar. They said that while Qatar did offer to donate the plane, no actual presentation or handover of the jet has happened. So there are different stories. U.S. sources seem to say that talks are actively happening, but people speaking for Qatar say that nothing is finally decided or settled. 4. People talk. Many people started to talk about the news of the plane. Some people were very unhappy. These included lawmakers in the U.S. government and groups that watch for fair actions. Chuck Schumer is a leader in the Senate. He said on social media that the gift was like bribery. He also said it was a strong way for Qatar to affect U.S. decisions. Many other Democrats agreed. Senator Adam Schiff said that a big gift like a $400 million air palace from a foreign country seemed to break U.S. rules. He called the plan very open and dishonest. The Democratic National Committee said the idea was Trump's newest dishonest plan. Senator Chris Murphy said on X, a social media site, that even if the plane went to the U.S. government first, it was not okay for Trump to get it later for his library. Groups that watch for honest government actions also spoke strongly. One group is Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, or CREW. CREW said they had never seen something on the level of a $400 million plane given as a gift before. They worried about a special rule in the U.S. Constitution. This rule is called the Emoluments Clause. It says U.S. officials, like the president, cannot take expensive presents from foreign countries unless Congress says it is okay. Kathleen Clark, a law expert, said the plan to give the plane to the Air Force first, and then to Trump's library, looked like a way to get around this important rule. Robert Weissman from Public Citizen agreed. He said the plan was clearly against the rules of the Constitution. He also believed Qatar wanted to give the plane to influence Donald Trump, but not everyone thought the idea was bad. Some people who supported Donald Trump said the gift could be a good thing. They said it could save money for American taxpayers. This was because the U.S. Air Force would not have to buy a new plane. Supporters also said that the new official Air Force One planes were very late. The project was years behind schedule and cost a lot more money than planned. So, they believed getting this jet from Qatar could be a good way to get a new presidential plane without more delays or costs. An advisor to Trump said the deal was legal. Donald Trump also spoke about it on social media. He wrote that the Defense Department was getting a gift free of charge. He said it was a 747 plane to replace the old Air Force One. He criticized Democrats for complaining about it. The Republican National Committee and some allies also defended the idea. They said people were wrongly calling it bribery. They argued the gift would help U.S. taxpayers. Most Republicans in Congress did not say the plan was bad, but some quietly worried about how it looked to people. 5. The special plane. The plane at the center of the news was a Boeing 747-8 business jet. Its registration number was P4HBJ. This large jet belonged to the royal family of Qatar. People called it a flying palace because it was very luxurious inside. It had private suites, bedrooms, and special meeting rooms for important talks. The plane was about 13 years old. In February 2025, this special jet flew from Doha, Qatar, to West Palm Beach in Florida. Donald Trump went to Florida to see the plane. He inspected it. Some reports said he was thinking about using it as the new Air Force One. His team said he was just doing research for a possible new presidential plane. However, changing this civilian jet into a presidential plane was a very big task. It was not a simple job. A president's plane needs many special things. It must have advanced security systems to keep the president safe during travel. It also needs special communication equipment. This allows the president to talk to leaders and military officials anywhere in the world at any time. Defense systems are also very important. These systems protect the plane from dangers like missiles or other attacks from the air or ground. An expert named Richard Abulafia said the main problem was not the plane itself. The challenge was adding all the complex equipment needed for a president's flying office and command center. The United States needed new Air Force One planes. The current planes, known as VC-25A, were very old. They had been flying for more than 35 years and needed replacement. The government had a program to build two new ones, with the model name VC-25B, but this program had serious problems. The new planes were many years late. They were also costing much more money than the government first planned. Boeing, the company making them, reported losing over $2.5 billion on this contract. Because of these delays, the new planes were not expected to be ready until around 2027. Mr. Trump was unhappy about these long delays. His team thought using the Qatar jet could be a faster solution and could save years of waiting. If the U.S. accepted the plane, a company called L3 Harris would do the difficult work to change it. L3 Harris is a U.S. defense company that specializes in this kind of work. They would install the secure radios and other secret technology. They would also change parts of the inside of the plane to fit the president's needs. Before any work started, the plane would need a very careful and complete check for any hidden spy equipment. This was a big worry for security officials. Some called it a security nightmare because the plane came from a foreign country. All these changes would take a long time, possibly 2 years or more to complete. The work to refit the plane would also cost many millions of dollars paid by the Pentagon. 6. Is it okay? The United States has laws about gifts from other countries to its officials. These laws say that officials usually cannot keep expensive personal gifts. If a gift is worth more than a few $100s, it normally becomes property of the U.S. government. It is not for the official to keep. A very important rule for U.S. presidents is in the Constitution. It is called the Emoluments Clause. This clause is in Article 1, Section 9. It says a president cannot take presents, money, or titles from foreign countries without permission from Congress. Congress makes the laws in the U.S. Presidents usually try to avoid any large gifts from foreign governments. For example, in 2017, President Trump once received an expensive gun from another country. Because of the rules, he had to give it to the U.S. government. Many people, called critics, think the reported plan for Qatar's jet is against these rules. They say it clearly breaks the Emoluments Clause. They argue Congress has not approved this gift, so it would be illegal. Some critics say that even if the U.S. Air Force gets the plane first, it is still a problem if Mr. Trump's library gets it later. They feel this goes against the real meaning of the law. They also worry that such a big gift could allow Qatar to influence the president's decisions. The idea to give the plane to Mr. Trump's Library Foundation is a way some think might avoid these rules. The Emoluments Clause stops presidents getting personal benefits. If the plane goes to a foundation, not directly to Mr. Trump, some might say it follows the letter of the law. However, critics argue that Mr. Trump still gets a big benefit through his library. They think this plan is a trick to get around the real meaning of the law. But supporters of the plan, including lawyers in Mr. Trump's government, say it is legal. They argue the gift is not for Mr. Trump personally. They say the U.S. Air Force would accept the plane first. Then, after Mr. Trump is no longer president, the plane would go to his foundation. They believe this means Mr. Trump does not get a direct personal payment. They also say that existing laws already allow the U.S. to receive large gifts like planes. They state that Mr. Trump will not make money from the plane while he is president. Attorney General Pam Bondi advised that it would be legally okay if the plane goes to the library. However, many legal experts outside the government are not so sure. They have doubts. They say the main purpose of these rules is to stop corruption. Even if the plan seems to follow some rules, these experts worry it still goes against the main idea of preventing foreign influence. They believe it is hard to think Congress would allow such a gift. They also warn that a foreign country might use a large gift to change a president's policy. The big question is if such a gift is wrong, even if it seems legal on paper. Courts have not made a final decision on similar issues in the past. 7. Has this happened before? Big gifts from foreign countries to world leaders are not common. When they do happen, they often create a lot of discussion. People may ask why such a large gift is being given. It is unusual for a leader to receive something so valuable from another nation. In the United States, there are clear rules about gifts from other countries. If an American official, like the president, receives a gift, it is usually something small. These gifts are often symbolic, like a piece of art or a special book. They generally do not cost a lot of money. Importantly, these gifts do not belong to the official personally. They become the property of the U.S. government. For example, President Trump once received an expensive rifle from Saudi Arabia. Because of the rules, he had to turn this gift over to the U.S. government. U.S. officials cannot keep expensive personal gifts from foreign governments unless the U.S. Congress approves it. So, has a leader ever received a very expensive plane like this before? It is very unusual. There is one case that is a bit similar. In 2018, the Emir of Qatar gave a Boeing 747-8 plane to Turkey's president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. This plane was worth about $500 million. President Erdogan said the plane was a gift to the Turkish state, not a personal gift to him. He promised the plane would be painted with national colors and used for official state business. Even so, this gift caused a lot of debate in Turkey. The reported gift of a plane to the U.S. in this situation would be very different from past U.S. practice. It would break with tradition. No U.S. president has ever been given such an expensive personal item like a private jet from a foreign country. The idea that the plane might later go to President Trump's presidential library is also new. This is not how things have been done before. U.S. presidents normally cannot keep valuable gifts for their own use or for their foundations. This situation would set a new example. The value of this reported gift is huge. The plane is said to be worth around $400 million. Many observers believe this could be the most valuable gift ever offered to the United States or a U.S. leader by another country's government. Leaders in other parts of the world have sometimes received very expensive gifts, like palaces or small islands. However, a $400 million airplane is an extremely large gift. This large amount of money makes the situation very special and different from most other international gifts. 8. What happens next? Right now, the news about the special plane from Qatar is not certain. We do not know if Donald Trump will receive this large jet. Reports say officials are still looking at the plan carefully, so no final decision is made. People from Qatar's government said it is not correct to say the plane is already a gift. The plane has not been given yet. What happens with this expensive plane will depend on what lawyers and politicians decide in the coming weeks or months. The situation remains under review by both sides. Officials from the White House and Qatar have spoken about the plane. A top person at the White House said the plane will not be handed over during Mr. Trump's visit to Qatar. Both governments say they are still discussing the gift, and no agreement is complete. Lawyers for Qatar and the U.S. Department of Defense also say nothing is fully decided. They are checking all the legal details carefully. The White House stated that any gift from another country must follow all American laws. Ali Al-Ansari for Qatar said news about a finished gift was not true. He stressed that they are only talking about the possibility. What could happen next? The U.S. Congress might want to ask many questions about this valuable gift. They could have special meetings called hearings to investigate. If Mr. Trump tries to accept the plane, some people or groups might go to court. This could create legal problems and delays. Some committees in Congress are already thinking about starting hearings. They want to know if any rules or laws stop such a large gift. This story about the plane is important for other reasons too. It makes people think about how presidents should act and what is acceptable. It also makes them consider America's relationships with other countries around the world. Some experts in foreign policy say this situation shows what could happen if Mr. Trump becomes president again. He might try new, unusual ways to deal with foreign governments. The discussion shows there are serious questions about foreign gifts and what is right for a president to do to avoid problems. To summarize, the story about Qatar's expensive plane is complex and has many sides. There are some facts, but also many rumors and unanswered questions. We do not have all the answers yet. News companies reported details about the plans and what officials said. Mr. Trump also wrote about it on social media. However, people from Qatar and U.S. lawyers say very clearly that nothing is final at this moment. They are still looking at the idea carefully. This shows it is a difficult situation with many things to consider. The actual gift of the plane has not happened. What happens next will depend on important legal and political choices. What do you think will happen next with this special plane from Qatar?